Welcome to the WinEH podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, Winnie and Lacy.
Hello over there. We are so honored that you decided to lean in with us today. We are going to tackle the subject matter of, what the heck is the problem that most ranchers have with insurance?
Dun, dun, dun.
I love it. I love digging into this subject matter because, I've heard so many different commentaries, people that I directly talk with, but then, you go on social media everywhere. And I think it's safe to say that there's a smaller fraction of the population that actually, especially within in the ranching community and the farming community, that actually appreciate insurance. And then the rest where it's like, don't even talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give you the hand.
Yeah. I think that's a common objective that we get when, people, okay, what is this infinite banking? I'm interested, but tell me how it works. And when we say we use a very specific life insurance policy, it's like the ears turn off. I already
the mind
have
turns
insurance.
off.
Yeah. The mind turns off, the ears turn off. I already have insurance. Don't want to talk about it. It's an expense because, let's face it, all types of insurance, insurance companies they're not exactly the warm, fuzzy conversation that typically has been had over the years.
Truly, today is really about, for those of you who don't have any issues with insurance, great. But most of you that we're chatting with today really do have issues. And we hope that you leave our session today feeling a little bit more empowered and more open-minded to overcome all of the things that you might understand about insurance and just be open to learning that there's actually some, incredible uses that you can gain from using the right type of insurance. Now, what kind of insurance are we really talking about? Because it's actually a really broad term, which is part of the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of types of insurance, but you know what? The mind just kind of mushes it all together.
Yeah.
I find that most people just mush it all together and say, car insurance is bad, travel insurance is bad, crop insurance is bad. Every kind of insurance is just bad.
Yeah, definitely. I think it does get grouped all into, just one general bucket per se. And for the majority of people, they've never been shown what the possibilities are with this particular life insurance. The general understanding of life insurance is, well, that's just like when I kick the bucket, my loved ones get the payout. And that is as far as it has gone. And so we're here to educate, teach you, to coach you on how can you have a policy, how can we set up a policy where it not only is a benefit to you while you're living, but also when your passing comes.
So just to clarify for all of you listening over there, Lacy and I can speak to life insurance specifically. So we can't speak for every other part of the industry, that is attached to the word insurance. But what we're talking about today, if you're just joining us for the first time, it's all about, how can you use a specific type of life insurance to use it to your benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. To use it while you're living and not just have it there for when you're gone. There's actually a way. We're here to tell you that is actually possible.
Yeah. And part of the problem of getting, for most people, I think, on the other side where you're like, I just don't like insurance, to all those things that you said, here are all the objections, right? I already have it. Do you know what you actually really have? That is actually a bigger question. Most folks that we sit down with very rarely know what they actually have for life insurance. And in fact,
That's true.
Sits in they have probably lost their contract, filed it away, and who knows where. Sometimes it's a struggle to even find the paperwork that they first received.
Most times.
And the second issue I think that most ranchers and farmers have with life insurance is that not only do they not know where their life insurance contract is, if they have it, they don't understand it anymore. And they other than, they don't understand it. They don't know what they can do with it. And they're frustrated because the financial advisor who originally sold it to them in the first place most likely abandoned them. So part of it is our fault as an industry. Life insurance advisors who walk into this industry, and then when they walk out, I would say most advisors don't have like a really great exit strategy. So like the clients that they started with, if they leave the industry, they don't call you up and tell you they're leaving the industry.
No.
How you find out that they've left the industry is someone else, maybe that you have absolutely zero relationship with, contacts you, and you're like, great.
Yeah.
So I believe our industry is part of the problem that caused the problem that ranchers and farmers have with insurance. So
a little bit of distrust.
Not just a little bit, but probably a lot. On behalf of the insurance industry, I apologize for if you've had a really shitty experience with the previous life insurance advisor. It does take, just to give you, whether you choose to exercise empathy for our industry or not is up to you. But, it's not an easy industry to be in. It takes a lot of gumption and guts to share insurance with people. It's not the easiest thing to be selling. And I think that's also another industry. I think we're also viewed as salespeople.
Yeah.
Ned Needlemar out of like Groundhog Day. Really annoying.
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, it's kind of like the vacuum cleaner sales guy that goes door to door. I think that we can tend to be grouped into that same category. But I also strongly feel that we are not vacuum cleaner door salesmen who are just out to make that transaction. We're here to teach you a concept, coach you how to implement that in order to achieve goals in your life, build generational wealth, attract that next generation to the ranch or the farm. And it's all possible with this type of insurance.
I keep doing my best to put myself on the other side, right? Like if I wasn't doing what we were doing, because we're extremely biased, right? We could say all day long, talk blue in the face about how awesome it is. On the other side of it, it's like we are attempting to get to a place where how can you, yourself over there listening, regain trust in the world of life insurance? What specifically needs to happen? I think just based on all the conversations that I've had in the past, sometimes it's really easy because their parents believed in life insurance, so there's no resistance there. But there are lots of parents out there who have shared, and like if there is financial conversation that's being had growing up, then some of the conversations have been like, you're going to look at this. Maybe it's like, don't do it because I got screwed over. Or I'd be really, really super careful because the person I dealt with, who was actually a good friend, they sold us something and then like it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and they ended up moving out of town and left, right? Yeah. Or it could have been the case that, there's been an advisor who has misrepresented, and that happens in our industry, right? And those cautionary tales, it's not like they're not real, and yet at the same time, unless you can hear both sides of the story of what truly happened, Lacy and I want to invite you to move past the shitty stories that you've heard, move past did I say a swear word? I did. Move past the crappy stories. I don't mean, but but I'm not swearing at anyone. You guys know what I mean, but it's like, just move past the crap that you've heard, because there is a massive opportunity to realize that there is a better way to use life insurance in your life. It's so many ways. It can improve your life so many ways, not just at death. I guess here's the other thing. It's confusing. The world of life insurance is confusing and can be confusing.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's where we come in.
Yeah. And it gets less confusing once you give yourself the time and space to allow yourself to, what would Nelson say?
Rethink your thinking. Rethink your thinking. Yeah. Have an open mind to learn something new about something that you already have a preconceived notion on. One of the fellows who we work closely with, he's told us over and over again in his presentations, is that life insurance is actually the most cost-effective and efficient way to estate plan for that next generation. And so that's what we are here for. We're here to help you get into a position where the ranch is thriving. You're attracting the next generation so that they can continue on, and where the ranch is enough.
Right. And yet, to get to the other side of someone coming to that conclusion, then comes the next problem that most ranchers and farmers have with insurance. Because in their mind, they fixed it as it's too expensive. Right? Compared to what, like, it's like they understand the value. Oh yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, good for estate planning. But what happens if their cash flow is tight and in the mind, it's like competing against every other thing that they need to spend money on?
Mm-hmm.
How did you overcome it, Lacy? Because I mean, at one point you were on the other side. I mean, you weren't, you decided to share this message, but how do you feel like you and your husband overcame that same thought process? It's like, well, we have to spend money over here. We have to spend money over here. We have to spend money over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
how are we going to do this?
Yeah, it's a real thing. So when we were just clients of yours, and like, okay, so these are our monthly expenses. These are this is our income. We pay X amount of dollars for our life insurance. We actually had life insurance when we came to you. It was just term insurance. So death insurance. And then it's like, okay, so we're going to start this system. We're going to implement infinite banking into our lives. And it did take actually retraining my thought process around seeing insurance as an expense. And so once I worked through that, and everybody has to do it on their own time. Reed was instant. He's like, instant, this is awesome. It took me a little bit more time. I'm more conservative than he is. And so once I wrapped my brain around, no, this isn't an expense. This is actually, I think I actually like said to myself, like, this is like a deposit into our future. And so once I got past that, then I'm just like, oh my goodness, the hope and the peace and the possibilities that are within our Rowan family banking system. And then that's where the real fire behind me got lit.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a whole bunch of things that you said in here, and if you're just listening to the first time, it probably isn't going to make much sense, since right now this whole session is about like, what is the problem with life insurance that you guys have, right? So we are really going to keep inviting you to just check out all of our other shows so that it becomes a little bit clearer to you. So I think we've addressed it for today in the sense of what is the problem that most ranchers have with insurance. It's confusing, don't know enough about it. There's trust that, like a lot of distrust has been set forth mainly by the people that are in our industry and, perhaps abandoned, right?
Yeah. And it's seen as an expense.
Cost. Mm-hmm, and it's just like the way that we're thinking about it. And then, of course, like hearing about all the other cautionary tales that maybe someone they knew about or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Lacy, why don't you share with those that are listening today what they can do moving forward to help overcome some of these problems that they might have.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we just invite you to expand your thinking, like rethink that thinking, open your mind to learning something different, being exposed to a different way to view insurance. And so reach out to us at wecare@ranchyourway.com or head over to our website, ranchyourway.com, and purchase those books because you are going to need them. Get them as a bundle. Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, and Mary Jo's book, Farming Without the Bank.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEH podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.